Well, Barb's already pulled out ahead of me. We said we were going to leave at 8:30, and it is exactly 8:31 at the moment. I think I'm going to drive through this campsite too. It'll just be easier. These are kind of tight, these campsites. So she's already pulled out and headed to the dump station, which is where I'm going right now. I'm still having a problem with my Starlink communicating with my phone. I didn't put my seatbelt on. I guess I ought to do that. Or maybe not. So when we came in yesterday and looked at this campground, it was fairly empty. But it filled up pretty well yesterday afternoon and evening. Just smeared the whole windshield for you. Sorry about that. Yeah. I still didn't put my seatbelt on. Okay, settle down. They've got trash cans at like every site, which is pretty daggone nice. Yeah, Starlink is working just fine. The problem is with my phone. And I don't understand it at all. So I'm gonna have to break down and call Apple, I think. Okay. Could you stop? Could you stop, please? Could you stop, please? So, today is Tuesday, August the 12th. Welcome to the sunshine. We are heading today for Knife River Indian Villages, which I think is about 2.5 hours away from here. So, yeah, we'll see how that goes. Should be a pretty easy drive. My tires all seem a little bit low, but that's okay. Oh, and Barb's still dumping, so that's fine too. Here's the Cannonball Concretions pull out straight across from us. And let's see what we know about where we're going now, because Google finally connected. Alright, so we got 2 hours, two Google hours, 114 miles. So it'll probably be 2.5 hours or more, because, you know, we'll stop. The water fill up was very, very slow. Interestingly, the water is marked as non-potable, even though it's separated from the dump station. And the dump station has a rinse hose, but the water flow was very slow on both of them. So yesterday I had, ooh, very pretty this morning. Yesterday I had checked I tested the water for hardness and metals and nitrates and nitrites and all that stuff. The only thing I did not test was bacteria, because that takes 48 hours. But everything else was fine, so I put the water in my tank. I'm not terribly worried about it. And here we go now. It is some rough road down here, so I should probably not go too fast. I'm pretty tired of the flies. I'm almost looking forward to getting back to Arizona from that perspective. You doing good, Kit? What a beautiful morning, huh? It's a beautiful Kit morning, isn't it? We got our water, we got our tanks dumped. We didn't really get rinsed. That's okay. I did put fresh water, well, semi-fresh water, into the black tank so that I don't have to do that from my fresh water tank. The biggest problem, the biggest issue with black tank problems is usually the result of not enough water. So ideally, I like to start with about 3 gallons in the tank from empty. So I've got water all across the bottom of the tank. And then, you know, if you're putting solids in, make sure you put a lot of water in with them. And there is the issue of struvites from your urine. I don't know how big an issue it is. I'm sure that's part of what, you know, gunks up the sensors so that they don't really reflect accurately what the level is. But I've been doing this so long, I don't care about the sensors. In fact, for the most part, I just kind of keep track of how long it's been since I dumped. And I dump about every 2 weeks or so. I have proven to myself that I can go as long as 27 days. Actually, I can go as long as 26 days. The 27th day was questionable because that tank was super full by the time I got into the dump station and dumped it. Let's slow down for the rough road and not throw things all over the place. What a beautiful park. I gotta tell you, I have been thoroughly enjoying North Dakota. Way more than I thought I would. And, I mean, I picked this initially because it was the closest thing of interest I could find that got us into North Dakota. And then I found the Knife River Indian villages, and I thought, well, let's go there. And then, of course, I found the geographical center of North America, so we got to go there. So we're spending actually a fair amount of time in North Dakota. I think we've been here about a week and a half, going on 2 weeks now. And really what I'm getting from these new states, like North Dakota's a new state, I'd come back here, even with the daggone bugs. I am pretty tired of getting bit up, though. Got a bite on my cheek when I woke up. Well, I had a bite on my cheek when I woke up this morning. I'm not sure where it came from. I don't know if it was a fly or if it was a mosquito. I know I've got at least one mosquito in here. I had an enormous moth in here that I finally killed last night, but I hope it didn't make babies before it died. There's another fly flying around. So, yeah. I was going to say this part of the park is not as spectacular as further in, but it's pretty spectacular. Yeah. Let's just get these views as we come around here. Look at this. Just look at it. I have to say they got a lot of trash cans in this park. Sorry about the camera moving around. It keeps kind of rotating, not in the direction that I wanted it to be facing. And I have to say, I really love this rig, love my life. I am so grateful for all the things, for the people I get to meet. Like, I just met Jim and Carla at the dump station. We had a fun conversation. They're from Texas. They're heading from Theodore Roosevelt National Park to Montana, someplace near Billings. So yeah, the people I get to meet, the places I get to see. I never imagined, even 5 years ago, it never occurred to me that I might actually sleep in all 50 states. Hello. Something fell. Dakota was my 50th state to have slept in. So that's pretty cool.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
Alright, one more view. We're on 85 North now. One more view for you. So the Ma Day. The CCC campground where we were for 4 nights before we went to Theodore Roosevelt. Turnoff is here. That was a great campground. Currently, the rack rate is $10 a night, but it's federal, so $5 a night for me. And every site has electricity. But he said next year, Campo said, next year the rates are going up to $25. And hopefully they're going to get the road paved because it was nasty. I was concerned about getting out of there. I'll try and put a link to that video up here for you. Okay, so we are saying goodbye to US 85 and hello to State Route 200. I'm hungry. I thought two things worth mentioning. It's 63 degrees and it is now 8:40 in the morning according to Google, which is only 10 minutes after we pulled out of the campsite an hour and 10 minutes ago. So we've changed time zone again, and I have no idea how long it's going to be before we change time zone again, because we're heading east, so I'm pretty sure we're going to wind up back in Central Time one more time, or for the next day or so. And it occurs to me to wonder how difficult it is for people that live in near time zone changes. I imagine you cannot leave your devices set on automatically change time zones. I think you just have to pick whatever time zone you live in and live with that one. Because otherwise it would just be kind of a nightmare, I would think. Alright, so we are down to 88 miles to go. We have 17 miles to a roundabout where we will continue on this road. So I think if I can find some place to pull over and grab some food, I'll probably do that. Grab some food out of the refrigerator. So we've got a traffic circle in the middle of nowhere here. This makes little sense to me. And I've seen these rigs, which I don't know if this is oil or gas that they're pumping, but each setup has had an open flame near it, which has been kind of interesting. And we're 2 miles from Killdeer, so I am hoping we can find a place to stop there and eat. So the Lewis and Clark Trail goes straight ahead in the direction that we're going, or it also goes to the left.
The Lewis and Clark Trail, keep that in mind when you plan.
Yeah, I just saw that.
That'll be a cool place.
Okay, well, we are feeling refreshed. We stopped at that marathon and got fuel. And I walked inside and I got a chicken salad sandwich on cranberry bread, which was okay. Wasn't excellent, but you know, it was edible, so that And I didn't have to cook or make a mess. So yay for that. That's the first time we've gotten fuel in over a week. Last time we got fuel was on the 8th of, on the 4th of August, and today's the 12th, so it's been 8 days. And let's see how we did fuel economy-wise, which I don't think was very good. It's 157 miles. Divided by 20.657. Yeah, that looked good. That was 7.6 mpg. But there was several hours of generator running in there for air conditioning. And we had some pretty heavy winds, so whatever. It's all good. So basically the last week of driving cost, I think it was like $60. So I can't complain about that at all. Welcome to Dunn Center. Doesn't appear to be a whole lot here in Dunn Center. It's got a crossroads. This one doesn't rate a traffic circle yet, huh? Go figure. Oh, there was a little downtown village off to the left that was like less than a block long. Claimed it had a historical museum. We are, after all, on the Lewis and Clark Trail. Yeah, I think, I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll just go east to the beginning of the Lewis and Clark Trail and follow it west. Because it apparently goes way further north than I realized it did. And it's interesting to me that I've never been this far north before. At least not on the coasts. Well, not on the west side of the country. But I've been up around the Great Lakes. But that's not really, until you get far up into the Great Lakes, that's not really all that far north. It's kind of interesting. It's also interesting to me that, you know, in the next day or so, we're going to see the geographical center of North America. And when you think about how big Canada is, and the fact that we're seeing that in North Dakota, yeah, pretty interesting. Well, they started this paving project about 2 miles back where we had to wait for the pilot car. And basically it looks like they're just laying down oil and then dropping some fresh asphalt and rolling it. I wonder if they're going to do the center section as well, or if they're only doing the two edges. Very interesting. And until we got to this section, I was beginning to wonder why we had a pilot car. Because they had only done the outer strip for the section that we've been single laning. So I guess it all makes sense now. And maybe they are only doing the 2 strips, because like look at the roadway here where the 2 wheel ruts are pretty rutted, probably from all the heavy truck traffic. A lot of kind of semi-industrial stuff, you know, oil and gas and all of that, plus all the farm equipment and stuff. Tends to beat roads up pretty well. Okay, well, we're done following the pilot car now. And not a whole lot of traffic here. I mean, we had 2 ahead of me, Barb's behind me, and a tractor trailer behind her, and that's it. And we sat there waiting for probably 10 minutes for the pilot car. And then there were only 3 vehicles waiting to go in the opposite direction. So there you go. And we still have 52 miles to our destination. Hopefully, no more interruptions in that time frame. It's now officially 10 o'clock, 10:02 a.m. Central Time. And it's weird because Google thinks I've been up for 5 hours. And I was very confused about the time when I got up this morning. So I probably have been up for 5 hours. But I think we'll be in the same time zone this evening, so that should offset some of my confusion, I hope. We'll see how this goes. Yeah, I guess they're done with this section, but yeah, all they've done is the wheel ruts. Interesting. So where are we now? This one rate's slowing down to 25 miles an hour. Is it going to tell us? Here we go. We're in Dodge. Never heard of it. Looks a little more town-like than everything else we've passed through this morning. Which you may not be able to see. There's a street of houses over to our left. I think this is the commercial district. Oh, there's another street of houses or 2 back over here to our right. Okay, well that was Dodge. They didn't give us any idea of population, but I can give us elevation at 1,985 feet-ish. Hope you enjoyed it. Well, here we go with another traffic circle. And if we were going left, we could go to the Beulah Bay Recreation Area, which I know absolutely nothing about. We are, however, going straight. I'm not quite sure how they think you're going to do these traffic circles at 45 miles an hour. That seems a bit excessive in terms of speed to me. I mean, I'm making this turn at 17 miles per hour. Okay. 21 miles to our destination. Google says continue straight for 14 miles. I wonder what we do then. Do my eyes deceive me, or are those signs of civilization way out there in the distance? I feel like we've just been driving through nothing for 100 miles, which is pretty true. This is Hazen, H-A-Z-E-N, and with all of these little hamlets that we've been through, the highway doesn't really seem to lead. I mean, yeah, the businesses aren't on the highway. Everything's kind of offset to the sides on side roads, as it were. I've been muddling along and thinking about things, and it occurs to me that I might go ahead and get rid of T-Mobile. Harmony Lake to the left, 6 miles, part of the Hazen Bay Recreation Area. Well, presumably part of. That said 14 miles. And then the other thing that I've been thinking about is really exploring the Lewis and Clark Trail. I mean, what we've been driving through has been absolutely beautiful. Seems to be plenty of camping around. And truck parking to the left. Oh yeah. there too. Interesting. Well, Hazen's kind of a cute little town. I think I'm going to look at doing that maybe next summer. See when the best time to head east to get started is. And I'm thinking about the fact that, you know, as I'm driving along here, we're not really close to any waterway, so how much time did they spend on land and how much time did they spend on water? And I guess I'm going to end up immersing myself in, you know, reading the journals and all of that kind of thing. Watch for stopped vehicles. Oh, I guess if the railroad crossing is in effect. Okay, well, it says speed limit's up to 55, although I haven't seen a speed limit sign here yet, but Garmin and Google agree, so that's usually a fairly good indication of what the speed is. Nice looking golf course here on the right. Alright, we're getting there. We got 12 more miles to our destination. This kind of feels like an interminable slog at this point. It's 11:45. Oh, well, we're crossing the Knife River, so we must be getting close, since we're going to the Knife River Indian villages. Well, this is a left turn for both the left turn and straight ahead for the Lewis and Clark Trail. And we're finally saying goodbye to State Route 200, North Dakota 200. And we've got 2 miles to the Knife River Indian villages. Now we're on a scenic byway. It's a scenic byway, Kit. Is that exciting? It is. This has felt like a really long drive. And I guess we left the campground either 3.5 or 4.5 hours ago. Yeah, see, Google said this was a 2-hour drive, so I guess it's been 3.5. 14-foot 9-inch clearance bridge. Not an issue for me. Because I'm short. Oh, and the other thing that I've been thinking about a lot, and I guess I want to just kind of ramble for a minute in case the scenery is really interesting as we get up here. You know, what happens when I'm really ready to get off the road? When I don't want to travel all the time? I mean, on the one hand, I can, and part of what I'm thinking about is, and I want to check this out when I get back west, is maybe get a summer place in Oregon or Washington and get a winter place in Arizona or New Mexico. Welcome to Stanton. And so that can look like several different things. As long as I'm still comfortable driving and I'm still comfortable living in this rig, I can just keep this rig and I can drive from one location to the other. But then I'm thinking, as I get even older, another possibility, it's a whole little village here. Another possibility is that I buy a couple of park models and I can park one at each of my locations and then just drive between them. And I'm thinking, well, that, you know, I don't want to have to get hotel rooms, and there's a pretty big distance between those two areas. So what if I get, you know, like a van? And I'm thinking about vans. Well, you know, I'd have to build it out to a certain extent. That would probably be fairly expensive. I haven't looked at the price of that at all yet. But then the next thing I was thinking about is I saw on That's RV Reviews the other day, Thor has come out with the Pasadena, which is basically 20 feet long, 7 feet 10 inches wide, so it fits in a single parking place. And it's an RV, it's not a B van. So it'd be much more comfortable in terms of, you know, space and size, and still easy to drive. Still get crappy fuel economy, but whatever. That's not that big a deal. And then I could use that as my daily driver. And the thing that I've thought about, which is kind of funny. Alright, what do we got here? Knife River Indian Villages, National Historic Site Visitor Center, 1/2 mile. Okie dokie. Lewis and Clark, straight ahead. Looks like a golf cart path here. Stevens Bridge Historical Site, 4 miles. Well, I didn't know anything about that. There's the Stanton Public Library. Oh, I guess it's a bike path. Well, that's pretty cool. That's 4 miles of dirt road. Alright, here comes Knife River. Don't do it. Kit, stop. Stop. No. No. Just be quiet. So the other thing that I've been thinking about is, you know, I end up needing to go pee fairly frequently. And so it seems to me that having a vehicle that I can just pull over on the side of the road and go pee is pretty useful. Just saying. So I'm kind of liking the idea of that. So where are we now? Out in the middle of farmland, huh? Well, not exactly. We are at the Knife River Indian Villages. And we've already been through the museum and we've watched the film. And now we're going to start our exploration and go down the trail. But I wanted to go back to the rig, drop off my passport, and grab my camera and microphone so that hopefully you'll be able to hear me over the wind noise, because it is quite breezy right now. But it's a beautiful day here on August the 12th. And I've already learned quite a bit that I had no idea. I didn't know. Like, this is where Sakakawea, also known as Sakakawea, see, it's hard for me to say now. Depends on what area as to which way her name was pronounced. So, we are now going to go ahead and head out and see what one of those earthen lodges used to look like. They've got one right over here that has been recreated for us. And then there's a mile-long trail where we can see, I think, where two of the 5 villages used to be. And we can take a look inside of this recreated earthen lodge, which they expected to last no more than 10 years. And these were the summer lodges. There's a garden over there. We'll go over there too. Summer lodges would last about 10 years. Winter lodges, they typically only occupied like once per year, and they were right down by the river. Oh, look what we found here. Look, we found Kit and Barb. Not in that order. Let's go see. So this is the trail. Did you look in the lodge already?
No, no, I just was waiting for you.
Thank you. Okay. No smoking in the Earth Lodge. No smoking in the Earth Lodge. I smell smoke. Come on, come on. Kit didn't like it.
Said 40 feet. Yeah, it's pretty
Wow.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty large.
Yeah.
And they have recreated how they would have been furnished. Oh, spider webs and all. Very cool. And it wasn't clear to me, is this like one family lives in a lodge? I imagine. And look down in that hole. Is that their root cellar? I bet it is.
I think so.
And actually in the museum they had a really good example of a diagram of how they stored their produce for the winter, which included kind of a bell-shaped depression in the ground with shelled corn along the sides, sacks of beans, and I forget what else. And then, did I say shelled corn? Cob corn along the side, shelled corn in the middle, and sacks of beans and something else. Oh, maybe sunflower seeds. So, very cool. And it's covered with a big old buffalo hide, which I'm guessing was pretty heavy
Yes.
when you opened the door.
Yes.
So I've got my hands full. Would you mind opening the door again?
Of course.
Look at that. And just like that.
Though. It is heavy.
I bet it is. Okay.
It's been really warm.
Yeah. Well, and I think between the buffalo hide and the big fireplace with the smoke hole in the center,
Yeah.
it probably was pretty comfy. And they might have had animals inside too. Mm-hmm. Lewis and Clark at the Knife Edge River Villages. With 168 days and 1,600 miles behind them, the Lewis and Clark expedition arrived near the Knife River Villages. Captain William Clark wrote on October 27, 1804, came to at the village on the LS. What's LS, I wonder? Lower something? I don't know. This village is situated on an eminence of about 50 feet above the water in a handsome plain. It contains 40 or 50 houses and a kind of picket work. The houses are round and very large, containing several families, as also their horses, which is tied on one side of the entrance. Upon their return from the Pacific Ocean in 1806, 3 days were spent here counseling with the tribal leaders. And at that point he wrote, when we were opposite the Minotaurus Grand Village, Big Hadassah Village, we saw a number of the natives viewing of us. We directed the blunderbusses fired several times soon after we came to at a crowd of the natives on the bank opposite the village of the Sioux Indians, or Mahahas, Amahami village, at which place I saw the principal chief of the little village, Sakakawea village, of the Manatari, and the principal chief of the Mahahas. Those people were extremely pleased to see us. And then on the 17th of August, we also took leave of Toussaint Charbonneau, his Snake Indian wife Sakakawea, and their child, who had accompanied us on our route to the Pacific Ocean in the capacity of interpreter and interpretess. Interesting. And boy, is that hard to say. So feel free to leave comments about my pronunciation of stuff that I can't pronounce. So this is a typical garden, and they would plant sunflower seeds around the outside, sunflowers around the outside, and then in the middle they would grow the three sisters, corn and beans and squash. So that way you get, you know, primary produce. Chief use of the drying stage was to dry vegetables, especially our corn and sliced squashes. Firewood collected from the Missouri in the June rise was often piled on and under the stage floor to dry. Keepers of the Okipa ceremony used to bring out their buffalo head masks and air them on the drying stage that stood before their lodge door. And there you have it. All right, let's see if we can catch up to Barb. I think the first village is just beyond these trees down here. We'll go see. So this is the edge of a large village of earth lodges. When the dwellings collapsed, they left circular mounds of earth around hardened saucer-like floors. And from the pattern, you can picture the extent of this village and speculate about the number of inhabitants. The bowl-shaped earth lodge depressions are surprisingly close together, leaving barely enough room for corn-drying scaffolds between the dwellings. On sprawling prairie, this crowded design suggests a close-knit social structure or the need for protection against marauding tribes. So there's that. But look at this beautiful day. How gorgeous is this? I'm telling you. Considering some of the super, super hot weather we've had, this is just awesome. Okay, we made it to the river. So they set up their winter homes along the riverbank, and they fished. Oh, and they did fish traps made out of willow panels that they thrust into the sand and anchored with 4 posts. And then the smell of maggoty meat tied inside would attract the fish. Awesome.
Oh, gosh.
Well, you clean the guts out before you eat them, so.
Yeah.
Oh, so this was a spur. I thought this was a loop. So I guess we, oh well, I guess we gotta turn around and go back to that point.
Yep.
Oh well. Metal hooks began to appear after the 1790s. They used bone fish hooks before then. Catfish spines and fish scales found in the middens. They know that the villagers caught catfish, goldeneye, and sucker. Not enough to drop a line in the river, one had to be spiritually prepared. Okay, good to know. All right, so we gotta go all the way back around this side and then over that way. Well, you used to be able to go down to the river, but now they've got the steps closed because of bank erosion and so forth. But look how beautiful. This would be an okay place to live, huh, Kit? We could live here.
When you come, yeah, look at, we've been to this area, remember? Because we were at Fort, was it McKinney? But we were here, because remember we
No,
were...
we went to Laramie.
Yeah, because we were in the Cheyenne, Arapaho, Comanche area.
Mm-hmm.
And now we're in the Mandan, Histata, and then we'll go down to Crow, I guess, Flathead, Shoshone. And then the Utes, of course, is going to be closer to Utah.
Yeah, and I spent a fair amount of time doing Nez Perce stuff a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, and they didn't call themselves Nez Perce. The French did because they had their nose pierced. So they call them Nez Perce.
Right. So we're saying goodbye to Knife River Indian villages. That was actually a lot of fun. And now we are heading for Minot. Why not? Why not Minot? And Google says 80 miles an hour in 21 minutes. Oh, we're going to be back on 200 east in 10 miles. So, Knife River Indian Village is much more interesting than I really expected it to be. It was one of the places where Sacagawea, or Sacagawea, depending on which tribe's language you're trying not to butcher, lived. Lewis and Clark visited there on their way west and then on their way back again. 1804 and 1806. So that was pretty cool. And yeah, we had a really good time there. We did about a 1.5 mile walk. Watched the movie, checked out the museum exhibits, got my passport stamped, did all the stuff. And so now we've got 80 miles to go to get to Minot, where we will be spending the night in a Walmart parking lot. Woohoo! Not my favorite thing, but this puts us in a position to be able to do the center of North America tomorrow, get back to Minot, and run errands, perhaps all in the same day. We'll see how this goes. Oh, parking area and picnic area down there by the river. And interestingly, Garmin is telling me, based on the History Channel stuff that pops up on my display, that we are now we're approaching the Knife River Indian villages, so I don't think this part is actually open to the public, but there were 5 different villages, and they extended a fairway along the river. So there you go. Look at all the fields of sunflowers. Wow. They're so closely planted and beautiful. Must be commercial crops. Almost makes me feel like I'm back in Kansas. Not exactly sure why, but there you go. So we are still continuing on the Lewis and Clark Trail. We're still on, well, we're back on North Dakota Route 200. And the intersection we just passed led to Beulah Bay and Hazen Bay, and said that the Lewis and Clark Trail went in that direction as well. So I think if I decide to do this, I'm going to end up doing a lot of winding around, probably much as they did, in order to visit the sites that they visited. I'm actually really kind of liking the idea. Look at that pretty church over there as we come over the hill. Isn't that a beautiful pastoral looking scene unfolding in front of us? Well, yes it is. Very pretty. So this is also 45th Avenue, I think, is what I just saw on that sign. Speed limit's 65. Pretty stiff wind. So I'm doing 59, which seems like plenty to me. And I am looking forward to getting to Walmart and being done for the day. And I might just pick something up for dinner the way that I picked up something for breakfast this morning. We'll see. I think it was Wyoming that had so many dirt roads that were considered main thoroughfares. And I think when we leave North Dakota, we're going back into Montana. I think that's where Glacier is. And then from Montana, we'll go back into Wyoming. It's pretty fun to have things to look forward to. And I mean, to a certain extent, I don't think it's possible for me to see everything. I don't think it's possible for me to be able to say country. Because there's always extra stuff to do. Extra stuff to see. You know? Always something. Pick city. Well, let's pick this city. Down to 25 miles an hour. Lake Sakakawea State Park. 1/2 mile. Gas prices have been like $2.89 in all these little outlying places that we found. I wonder what it is, you know, in a more populated place where things are usually cheaper. North Country trail access to the left along with the state park. Interesting. I think we're going to get a pretty good look at the water here. Called Government Bay coming up on our left. Wow, beautiful. Yeah, see, if I'm going to come back and do the trail, I'd probably stay there for a little while. Garrison Dam, Lake Sakakawea. I wonder if it's an Army Corps of Engineers park. West Tail Race, yeah, that says Army Corps of Engineers. Road work ahead. Be prepared to stop. Look at that, just look at it. So we got Garrison Dam National Fish Hatchery and downstream campground. Okay. Oh, so we're going over the top of the dam, I guess. That often kind of freaks me out. Of course, this time, I guess we're on the uphill side, so not too bad. Oh, there's a nice overlook there. Yeah, I think I'm going to be coming back here. I've decided. This is beautiful. And I think if I'm going to do the Lewis and Clark Trail, I'm going to have to get a kayak or a stand-up paddleboard or something. Because so much of what they did was all about being on the water. I think I want to have that experience. Okay, well that was a nice little piece of construction. Very cool. I take you guys to all the best places, right? And I certainly appreciate you coming along for the ride. Do next year, and then I get to decide if I want to do like a television show kind of, you know, week-long summary, or do a daily vlog for you. But I'll have a year to, well, not quite a year, I'll have 7 or 8 months, 6, 7 months maybe to think about that, because here we are, 12th of August, and I think pretty sure they set out from Independence in May, I think. the same time frames too. I think that would be cool. Although I don't want to be on the coast of Washington in the winter. That doesn't sound cool. But at least like the beginning parts I can do in the same time frame. Yeah, look at this over here. This is very cool. Oh, we're going to get some more one-lane road ahead up here. Somebody's coming up from the boat ramp. Somebody's heading down. Oh, this one's by traffic light. Pretty. Oh, a bunch more signboards over there to the left. Cool. And over here to the right. Pick City. Who'd have thunk it? I guess this is all spillway to my right. Yeah, this is the actual dam. Like, well, this is the spillway. The first part, I guess, was the actual dam. I guess they're repairing railings and reinforcing concrete here. Well, this has been very cool. I had no idea. Yeah, see, that's part of what makes this life so cool to me. I never know what I'm going to see. From one minute to the next. From one day to the next. Riverdale tourist route. I wonder what that means. Huh. Oh, I bet it goes around the dam. Game and Fish District Office. Bet this place gets pretty overcrowded. Or maybe not. I mean, who really knows? I'm speeding. Oops. Okay, I guess we've seen all the interesting stuff. So, interestingly, on our left is Lake Sacagawea. On our right is Lake Audubon, and about a mile back, we passed a turnoff for the Audubon National Visitor Center. Can't remember if it said Audubon Society or not, but I might have to look that up too. But I'm definitely enjoying all the time spent around the waterways while we're driving to Minot. And we only have 42 more miles to go, so yay for that. But yeah, I'm thinking a kayak or stand-up, a water item of some sort would be really cool to have for that expedition. Yeah. I gotta figure out the whole hassle of carrying it and everything, of course. Just beautiful. Not the electric lines right next to the causeway, but you know what I mean. I also would like to spend time around the Great Lakes, which I've never really spent much time around. I wonder if I can make the two fit together in some way. But I have a feeling that would need to be two separate enterprises because I think it'd be too cold for me to want to be up around the upper Great Lakes in order to, you know, like before, well, maybe April. Might be able to get a little time in there to find out that I do want more, just as I'm finding out here. Yeah, you never know. Across the Continental Divide at a height of 2,220 feet. I always think of the Continental Divide as like being tall and going through the mountains. Where do we usually cross it? Route 40 and Route 10. But we are much north of all of those places. And you can see like that little lake over there to the left. Looking at the Garmin map, there are, I'm going to say, probably hundreds of little ponds and lakes and stuff all around here. Probably very buggy, I'm guessing. But it certainly is pretty. And we've only got 15 more miles to go. Yay! Because I'm tired of driving. Why do we have flashing lights up here? Watch for entering traffic when flashing. Okay, that's interesting. Huh. Okay. Another pretty little pond or lake here. I was so relieved to finally make it to the Walmart, and even happier to see the Buffalo Wild Wings that is coming up on the right-hand side of the parking lot over here. So as it turns out, Barb and I parked up, went to Buffalo Wild Wings, had a delicious dinner, found out about 2 for Tuesdays. That was very, very cool. And then, you know, we did our grocery shopping, settled in for the evening, had another lovely night, and you'll have to come back and see where we end up the next day. But as always, thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you taking your time to watch my videos. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
No need for